Very good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to class 11. Today I'm going to talk about Amazon Alexa, and tomorrow I'm going to talk about AWS IoT Core. So on Saturday we'll have a final topic. Today we are using an SDK from Amazon, which is Amazon Alexa, and also we'll be using today our Madblocks Cloud. So that is why I asked you to create an account in developer.amazon.com, because developer.amazon.com is a user interface for developers to develop some products on Amazon. And Madblocks IoT Cloud, we wanted to integrate, Amazon Alexa with IoT. So that is why I asked you to create an account in Madblocks Cloud. We can use either Madblocks or you can use ThingSpeak also. Okay? So the 2 days before we use ThingSpeak for uploading data, right? So that is why I opted Madblocks. So let us introduce Madblocks Cloud too, in addition with ThingSpeak, so that we will have, knowledge on both ThingSpeak Cloud and also on Madblocks Cloud. So let's talk about what is Amazon Alexa. Amazon Alexa is a voice assistant driven by artificial intelligence. And also it is widely used assistant, something similar to Siri in Apple, Cortana in Microsoft, and OK Google, just Google Assistant in Android, and so on. So even Amazon is also having some voice assistant like Alexa. And this is a speech assistant which is completely driven by artificial intelligence. And this Alexa is available in different flavors. Say Echo or Echo Dot and so on. Okay, every year they are introducing a new product out of Alexa. You can search the website of Amazon Alexa on Google. You'll be having different types of flavors, different types of versions and all. And the smallest version and the lowest version is Echo Dot. Echo Dot is available for 4,000 rupees. And the rest, the one version will be available in 8,000 rupees, where the difference will be like, they'll be increasing the Bluetooth connectivity, or they will be increasing the speakers, the number of speakers here. Echo Dot will have only one speaker, but when you go for Echo, you'll be having double, you'll be having 2x speakers, which are, you'll have 2 speakers there. And the other Alexa product will have a screen, which is a mini screen, which will be there on Alexa Assistant. So in all the products of Amazon Alexa, they have a similar operating system. Okay, they have a similar operating system and a similar architecture. And the Alexa is completely driven on a module called Alexa Skills Kit. It is completely driven on a module called Alexa Skills Kit that some people will call it as ASK. So by using this Alexa Skills Kit, they used to train Alexa because Alexa is like a kid. Alexa is like a kid. For example, say for every voice assistant, daily life also we can have our voice assistant, right? If you are having Android smartphone, you'll have a Google Assistant there. If you are having Apple, you'll be having Siri, which is acting as a voice assistant. So we used to have voice assistants in our daily life. For every voice assistant, there will be an invocation word, right? There will be an invocation word, something like for example, say if you want to talk with Siri, you should call it as Hey Siri. Then immediately Siri will be alerted, right? And Siri will be alerted, and it starts hearing you. And in the similar way, when you have a Google Assistant, when you say okay Google, then Google Assistant Google Assistant will be alerted. I will be alerted, and it starts hearing you, right? So it means that every assistant should will have an invocation word. And when you call that invocation word, then only the assistant will be responding to your words. So here in Alexa also, there is a word called Alexa, or you can modify this word. Okay, there are some predefined words like some people will put Alexa as an invocation. Some people will put robot as an invocation. Okay, some people will put machine as an invocation. So there are some predefined invocation words to alert Alexa. Okay, for example, say something like Alexa, robot, or machine. So these are the predefined invocation words which would be there for invoking assistant here. So when you invoke your Alexa, then it starts hearing your voice, and that voice will be tokenized and will be converted into text, and that text will be sent to a machine learning algorithm to identify what are the important words which are there in the sentence, and it will try to answer accordingly. Okay, so say for example, say when you say Alexa, what are the symptoms of COVID-19? Say if you ask Alexa what are the symptoms of COVID-19, then it will search in Google and it will try to generate a speech of text which is available in the top results of Google about the question which is made, which is nothing but when you ask anything to Alexa, it will simply search in Google and try to get generate a speech of text which is available in the top results of the Google. Okay, which means that your Alexa can search anything in Google if you give something there. But Alexa, Amazon people have created a developer console for the developers to integrate their own products with Alexa. For example, say the mostly used skill in India is like Alexa, open Book My Show app, open Book My Show app, open Book My Show, Alexa, book the ticket in so and so theater. Okay, say in theater at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Then Alexa will be booking the ticket and Book My Show application, which is associated with your account, and so theater at so and so time on so and so day. Which means that the developers from Book My Show have created an interface, an integration with Alexa. So this kind of integration is available for all the developers so that they can integrate their applications with Alexa there. So as we are IoT developers, we should be able to integrate our own IoT stuff with Alexa, and this is what I wanted to show you today. Which means that for example, say Alexa, book the ticket. If you say Alexa, book the ticket in so and so theater at 6 p.m. tomorrow, then the Alexa will be confusing. Alexa will be searching in Google. Alexa will be searching in Google, and it cannot book ticket. It can't book the ticket because there will be so many number of applications. There will be so many number of applications available on Google to book a ticket. Which means that the decision making can't be done because you're not asking Alexa to open Book My Show app. Okay, so here you can able to ask Alexa to open Book My Show app only when Book My Show is integrated with Alexa as a skill. What is skill? A skill is nothing but a predefined learning mechanism where the machine can able to understand what user is requesting, and the machine can be able to predict because the skill is trained on the machine, so that it can do the task for user based on the algorithm which is run on the cloud. For example, say take a school kid. Say school kid alias to Alexa. Okay, take a school kid where a school kid can do whatever he or she learned. Okay, but there should be a teacher alias developer should teach the knowledge which is nothing but skill to the school kid, and that skill can be, say, a drawing, a cartoon on the paper, or singing a song. And for every action, if you look at, you will be having its own learning knowledge, right? Or you can say simply knowledge. It will be having its own skill. If you know how to draw a cartoon paper, you cannot sing a song, because singing a song is a different event, and drawing a cartoon on the paper is a different event. So every event will be having its own knowledge. Every event will be having its own skill, where a teacher should train, which means that a developer should teach the skill to the school kid. If the school kid gets trained on a skill, then he or she can able to perform the skill in the exam. Exam is like, user queries. Okay, skill in the exam, because the kid was trained on it. So here, if you want to perform any kind of, if you want to ask Alexa any kind of question, there will be two things here. One, non-trained question. If it is non-trained, it says that a default answer says that it is not trained by the master, or the default answer will be like from Google. Will be from like Google. Okay. If you ask a trained question, something like, book a ticket in so and so theater and so time, then it will react based on the event and tries to put the event into action there. Say controlling a device. Say controlling a device is an event. Action is like making device on and off. So here trained question. What can be the trained question? Trained question can be like, you can ask Alexa, please switch on the device. So this is a trained question. What can be the other trained question? You can ask Alexa, make device on. Or you can ask Alexa, say, Alexa, please put on the device. Or you can ask Alexa, device on. So here there are some questions which are related to making device on, right? So Alexa, please switch on the device is one kind of question which has the meaning like to switch on the device, right? Alexa, make device on. This is a different sentence when you compare with please switch on the device, but the intention is same. So the intention of the above said trained questions are same, but the user is pronouncing in a different way, right? Is giving, or you can say is giving a different sentence to the Alexa. So these sentences in Alexa are called utterances. Utterance is nothing but a voice command or a voice sentence which is given to the Alexa by the user. Okay, Alexa, please switch on the device. That is called utterance. So here, set of utterances is called an intent. What is the intent here? Intent is nothing but an action. Intent is nothing but an action. Say something like device on. Or there is one more, say intent 1, intent 2. Intent 2 is another action which is like making device off. Something like when you look at book my show, okay, intent 1 is like booking a ticket, and intent 2 is like canceling the ticket. So every intent is nothing but an action which is get trained by Alexa. So there are two intents required when you look at device. You should have a minimum of two intents here. One is to make device on. Second is to make device off. Okay. But every intent will have a sample utterances, because you can ask, some users will ask make device on, some users will ask device on, some users will ask Alexa, please put on the device, or some devices will ask switch on the device. So there should be a sample utterances here which has to be trained. Now what will happen? And all these sample utterances will be sent to the algorithm, where the speech would be converted to text. So here, because what user is giving here, user is not giving a text command. Okay, the sample utterances will be sent to the algorithm. Let's understand the flow. User is giving a voice command, is a voice instruction. Say Alexa. When you say Alexa, then immediately Alexa will start listening. Okay, Alexa, please switch on the device. So here, please switch on the device is the instruction. Alexa is the invocation. This is called asking Alexa to hear. Okay, it is called, when you say Alexa, then it starts listening what user is saying there. It means that recording will start happen. It indirectly means that when you say Alexa, then recording will start. Okay, when your voice gets idle, say please switch on the device. So it starts recording. When your voice signal is lost, then immediately recording will get stopped. Recording will stop, and that record will be stored in WAV file format, WAV format, and that WAV format will be sent to speech recognition module of Amazon, where the speech will be converted to text. So when you say please switch on the device, so when you give a voice instruction, so here what is happening here, when you give voice instruction, then Alexa is sending data to speech recognition, and the speech recognition module is converting that speech to text. You'll get text as an output, and the text will be tokenized. It will be sent to a machine learning classifier, wherein sentence will be tokenized and stored as a data feed. So here, to machine learning classifier, as the classifier is already tried with sample iterances, because when you're creating the skill, you will be training your classifier. Without training the classifier, you know this the tokenized words can't be predicted if classifier is not trained. If you ask Alexa to switch on the bulb, it cannot understand. It will search in Google because it is not trained yet, right? The Alexa is not trained yet. If you ask Alexa to switch on the bulb, it will search in Google and it will show you the, it will get all the data from the Google which is related to switch on the bulb, because the classifier is not yet trained. So we need to train the classifier. When we train the classifier, then the machine learning classifier can able to predict what is the intent. The machine learning classifier will return. So here it will return. The classifier, it will return the class name of this sentence belongs to, and that class name is nothing but intent, and that class name is nothing but intent. And this intent name, the class name, when the class name is identified, it pushes data to a function call, to make the decision. So here, as simple as it is, user, voice, Alexa is collecting the voice, and speech recognition is converting that voice to text, and the text is sending data to machine learning classifier. Machine learning classifier is identifying the class it belongs to, and that is nothing but intent. That intent will be sent to a function call, and the function call will make the decision there. After taking the decision, again the decision will be in terms of text data. The text, again, it will convert to text to speech, and that speech will be sent to Alexa back. So that speech will be dictated by Alexa there. So here input is collected by Alexa from user, output is also generated through Alexa to user. Input is voice, output is also voice, and this voice is from user, this voice is from the text output which is generated or which is which is written in the function call. Okay, so the for Alexa the input will be voice and output will be also voice. Okay, the input is voice and the output is also voice, but the input voice is from user, output voice is from Alexa. Okay, so here first what we have to do, first we have to train our Alexa. Second, we have to define what events, what actions you can say has to be done. Third, we have to connect and that actions with hardware through IoT. Okay, so these are the three things which we have to do today. We have to train our Alexa with a skill, and second, we have to define what kind of actions it has to be done based on the skill that we train. Third, and we have to connect those actions with hardware, because as it is IoT, it is not like a Book My Show app, right? Book My Show is completely related to a software skill, but when you talk about IoT will have both hardware and software. So we need to create a hardware skill so that those actions will be connected to hardware, and the hardware will be doing the action here. For example, say a hardware like Raspberry Pi, is connected with bulb. And where is that Raspberry Pi? It is at Hyderabad. Say it is with me. Okay, the hardware is with me. It's with me. Where is Alexa? Alexa is with you. Okay, and you are not in Hyderabad, and you are there at different places, but you are having Alexa. So your Alexa should access hardware, which is Raspberry Pi, where Raspberry Pi is with me. Okay, your Alexa should access Raspberry Pi. So the bulb which is connected to my Raspberry Pi should make on when you give instruction to Alexa, where that Alexa is available with you. Okay, so that should be the output of this today's class. Okay, so let's do this. So here what we have to do is, the Raspberry Pi is connected with internet. Raspberry Pi is connected with internet. Okay, and a device is connected with Raspberry Pi. A device is connected with Raspberry Pi. For you to understand, let's make our device as bulb. Okay, a bulb is connected with Raspberry Pi. So this bulb or this Raspberry Pi, because bulb or Raspberry Pi both are same here according to the software, because bulb is also connected to Raspberry Pi. This bulb or this Raspberry Pi should able to access by Alexa through a remote connection. Okay, the bulb or this Raspberry Pi, instead of bulb you can put any engine, or you can put any kind of robot, or you can put any kind of motor. Okay, so for you to understand, taking this bulb which is connected with my Raspberry Pi, so that Raspberry Pi should be able to access, so the bulb or the Raspberry Pi should be able to access by Alexa through a remote connection, which indirectly means that the Raspberry Pi should be connected with cloud. So let us connect Raspberry Pi with cloud, and that cloud today I'm using is Madblocks Cloud. You can do the same with ThinkSpeak also. Okay, so today I asked you to create an account in Madblocks. So that is because the reason is this: the Raspberry Pi should be connected with cloud, and the cloud is nothing but Madblocks Cloud. So let us jump into Madblocks Cloud. Okay, so let us log in. So let us log in into the dashboard. Please log in into the dashboard. So in the dashboard, you need to click on IoT Cloud. So on the left side, you'll have IoT Cloud. You need to click on IoT Cloud. And here you need to click on Device Access. You need to click on Device Access. In IoT Cloud, you need to click on Device Access. On the left side, when you log in into the dashboard with your username and password, on the left side, you'll have IoT Cloud. In IoT Cloud, you'll have Device Access. In the Device Access, you have to add your device, okay, which you want to have a remote connection, okay. You need to add a device here. So let's add a device. We'll have the device settings option here. Let us add a device. Let us give some name, webinar, say webinar device, okay. Tell us about your device, let's say demo. So I wrote webinar device as device name, okay, and description I wrote demo. I'm trying to add a device. I'm trying to add a device here. I'm clicking on add button. When I click on add button, there is a pop-up says that your device is live. Your device is live. You need to enter your device name and you need to enter some description here. Then when you click on add, you'll get a pop-up says that your device is live. When you get a pop-up says that your device is live, then immediately at get API key, you can select your device. I'll select my device webinar. Okay, webinar device. So when you select your device, webinar device, it is showing some API key which is generated by the cloud when you add the device here. So when you add the device here, it will be generating an API key which is encrypted API key. So in ThingSpeak also, when you create a channel, it will generate an API key. So here also, when you add a device, it generates an API key. It generates an API key. So through this API key, we can able to access the device from any location. Through this API, we can able to control the device, or we can able to transfer the data, or we can able to access the device from a remote area. Okay, let us copy this API key. Okay, let us copy this API key and I'm pasting in the notepad for future reference. So device API key. Okay, device API key. I've stored this in the notepad. You can also store this API key in the notepad, because later in the Python program we need to call this API key. Okay, device API key. So for every device there will be unique API key. I'll get one API key, you will be getting one more API key. So our API keys will be unique and different. Okay, and this is an encrypted API key. And there are API requests. And what kind of API request? Push API request, pull API request. Push is nothing but pushing data. Pull is nothing but pulling data. Push is nothing but uploading data. Pull is nothing but downloading data. So there are two types of API requests. Push in the sense uploading data to cloud. That is called pushing. Pull is nothing but downloading data from cloud. Okay, pulling. So the name itself says push and pull. Push is nothing but uploading data to cloud. Pull is nothing but downloading data from cloud. Okay, so let us select our device here. So let us select our device, webinar. Okay, webinar device. So when I select the device, it is showing what is the push API request and what is the pull API request. What is a push API request? What is a pull API request? So let us copy the push API Let us copy the push API and let us save it in the notepad. Push API. And when you look at this push API, what it is having? Device API key, it is holding two parameters here, right? One is device API key, second one is device status equal to 0. So it is holding two here. One is device API key, second one is device status equal to 0. So which means that the 0, the data, the status 0 is pushed to this API key. The status 0 is pushed to this API key, and that 0 will be uploaded to the cloud. And that 0, if you, in the place of 0, if you write say on, if you write on, then what will happen? This on will be uploaded to this API, which means that to the device, to the cloud, to the cloud. So the device status will be uploaded to the respective API key. If API key is a different API key, then to that API key, the on will be uploaded here. So the API key is generated here. The API key is generated here, and we have copied it into the notepad. And there is a push API request. Let us copy the pull API request also. And pull API request, if you look at, it is not holding any status because it is downloading data. If you want to push, if you want to upload the data, you should pass what you want to upload. If you want to upload the data, you should talk about what you want to upload. But to pull the data, no need to upload, right? It's all about downloading data. There is no device status here because device status will be downloaded. The device status will be downloaded. We are not passing any device status equal to in pull API request because it's all about downloading data. When you have device status equal to something like on or off, then it means that it is a uploading data, which is push API request and pull API request. Okay, so here my question is, what Alexa has to do? What Alexa has to do? Push or pull? Can you say push or pull? What Alexa has to do? User will be giving a voice instruction. User will be giving a voice instruction. Let's say if the voice instruction is matched, say analysis is done. So the Alexa has to switch on the device or switch off the device. Then what? Which request it has to call? Push API or pull API? It has to call. Alexa should call. Yes, Alexa should call push API. Okay. Alexa should call push API. Alexa should call push API. So in the program of Alexa, we have to write the push API because sometimes people will get confused. They'll write pull API in Alexa. You should not write pull API in Alexa. If you want to download data from Alexa, then you have to write pull API in Alexa. Okay, but in this case, you have to write push API in the Alexa because Alexa has to upload the data. Alexa has to upload the data. Okay. So let's jump into the dashboard. So you have understood, right? So let's jump into the dashboard. So here, let us copy pull API. Let us copy pull API. And let's paste in the new tab. Let us copy pull API. Let us copy pull API and paste it in the new tab. Let's paste in the new tab. Okay, now how to paste, right? I have pasted in the new tab. I copied the pull API and I pasted here. So it is saying that something went crazy, to check properly, which means that there is no data which is associated with this device because we have not uploaded anything here. We have not uploaded any kind of data. So that is what it is saying that do check properly. There is no data available here. Okay, which means that. So let us upload the data. Okay, let us upload the data. How to upload the data? We have to use push API. To upload the data, we have to use push API. So let's copy this data. Let's copy this API. Let's paste in the new tab. Let's paste in the new tab. Okay. So instead of 0, instead of 0, let's put on. Let's write on. Okay, instead of 0, let's make it on. Let's replace 0 with on, and I will hit enter. When I hit enter, this on and this to this API key should be stored, right? So it is saying that data stored successfully. Okay, the data which is given in the API is stored successfully, and the ID is, okay, some ID is generated 161190. That is the ID of this on request. That is the ID of this on request. Okay, so when you paste your API, when you paste your push API in your browser, you'll get a different ID. So that ID is nothing but the ID of the element which is called. So let us, now it is showing do check properly, right? Let us reload the page. You know how to reload the page. Reload the page. When you reload the page, the data which is pushed has to be displayed here with an ID and the message. What it is showing here? It is showing name colon. What is the name of the device which is given while creating device? ID colon. ID is nothing but element ID, the data ID 161191. 161191, the data ID which is uploaded there. And device status. Device status is on. Device status is on. Okay. So when you reload this page, you can able to see the data which is uploaded. So let us push in the place of on, let us push off. Let us enter. It is showing 161198. Okay. So let us reload the page. So it is showing device status off. You can able to see off in my API which is associated with this device, because one time I have uploaded on, one time I pushed on, second time I pushed off. When you push on again, then you can able to see one more line saying that this is the data which is associated. So this link, this API is downloading the data, is showing the data what it is pushed to the device. Okay, have we got the output till here? So this full API should display what is the data which is pushed, and this push API should able to push the data to the API. Okay, this API request should able to push the data to the API which is associated with the device. So here let us select your device. Let us select your device. At select device option, let us select your device, webinar device. Let us select your device. If you select your device, you can able to see the data which is uploaded to your device. Okay, when you select your device here, you can able to see the data which is uploaded, okay, in the table. If you select your device here, if you select your device here on dashboard, if you select your device here in the dashboard, you can able to see the data which is associated to your device. So one time I pushed off and one time I pushed on, so I can able to see the data here. Okay, so let's jump into Tiny Apps. Okay, let's jump into Tiny Apps. Tiny Apps are nothing but a user interface where you can able to access the device from anywhere, which is like, you know, button clicks. Okay, this is not a voice assistant. This is a button click. When you click button 1, one action should be triggered. When you click button 2, the other action should be triggered. Button 3, the other action. Button 4, the other action. So you can able to access, you can able to trigger 4 different actions. Okay, 4 different actions using this Tiny Apps. So let us create an application here. Let us create an application here. If you want to create an application here, you should focus on the box called app settings. Okay, you should focus on this box, app settings. In the app settings, you'll have delete app and creating a new application. Delete app, deleting the previous app, okay, which is controlled here. And to create an application, you have to select the device. Okay, for which device you want to control. Say we are creating an application for webinar device. Okay, so let's write webinar device here. Let's select the device as webinar device, and let's write application name as webinar. Say webinar IoT. Okay, MPP. Tell us about your application. Write demo. You need to select your device, and you need to write your application name, and then demo. Button 1 action. And button 1 action, just write on. Let's click on one more button here. You can click on add button, you'll get one more field. Okay, let's write off. Like this you can able to create 4 buttons. Okay, but as of now we need only 2 buttons. Okay, here you can able to see my previous application wherein I control this robot by using these buttons. Okay, front, back, left, right. So then you should able to create 4 buttons here. Then you need 4 buttons, right? But this application needs only 2 buttons because there are only 2 actions here, on and off. After writing these keywords, okay, on and off, you should able to click on create. When you click on create, your application will be created. Our application is created for only one device. We cannot control all the devices through this application. We can control only one device through the application. Okay, we can control only one device through the application here. Have you all created? It's simple. You need to select the device, and you need to write your application name, and you need to brief it. Say demo, something like that. Button 1 action, you should write the command. Okay, that what you want to upload. And then again you have to click on add button. You have to write the second command that what you want to upload, and then you have to click on create. When you click on create, application will be created. To activate your application, for these buttons, okay, these buttons are now idle. These buttons are now idle. We need to activate them. If you want to activate them, there is select tab. So here, as I'm having multiple apps, I'll write the application name. Okay, the application which I created now is a webinar IoT FDP. I'll select this. Okay, when I select this, then immediately to these buttons, this application is activated. Okay, this application is activated to these buttons. Okay, and you can able to see on and off. For button 3, button 4, we have not defined anything. It is undefined. Okay, they are undefined. Okay, but for button 1 and button 2, we wrote on and off, right? On and off. Okay, so like this, you need to activate your application. You need to activate your button. Now, when you press button 1, what is the command which is allocated to button 1 is on command, right? Is on command. So in pulling request, in pulling data, in pulling API, you can reload the page. You can able to see a new command called on. You can able to see a new command called on. So when you press button 2, in this page it should reflect with off. Okay. So when you press button 2, so in the page it should reflect with off. Okay. So like this, you need to test your application. So when you press this button 1, the device should on. Okay. When you press button 2, the device should off. So this is like a user interface. You can open it on your mobile application, on your mobile phone browser. You can open this website. If you press button 1, the light will be on. When you press button 2, the light will be off without any program, right? We are not written any program for any button, right? The program will be generated dynamically here on the backend, where button 1 is allocated, is connected with on, button 2 is connected with off. When you press button 1, your device will be on. When you press button 2, your device will be off. Okay. So when you press button 1, so the data will be, will be stored in the database, and you can able to see the data through this API. Okay. So we got this. When you press button 1, it should display on here. When you press button 2, it should display off. Have you done up to this? So let's write program up to this. Okay. You can open Google Colab. Okay. You write in Google Colab. I'll write in Raspberry Pi, okay, because you cannot write program on Raspberry Pi from remote area. I will write on Raspberry Pi because Python programs are portable. Okay, you can write in Google Colab or you can write in AWS Putty. The program will remain same, but the place of execution will be different. Okay, so you write on Google Colab, or I will write on Raspberry Pi. Please open your Google Colab. Okay, let's install the package. Okay, pip install matblocks. So pip install matblocks. When you run this, control enter, the matblocks package will be downloaded from Python community. Okay, so along with this we have to install one more package, pip install IBM_Watson. I'll be talking about IBM Watson on Saturday. Okay, so let us install this package too. Okay, so let's write program. Okay, for reading the data, import matblocks as MB, import time. Okay, import matblocks as MB, import time. So while one, which is while true. Okay, while one is nothing but true, which means that it is an infinite loop. While one, so we have to read the data. K equal to, say, some variable equal to device underscore pull. We need to pull the data. Pull of API equal to, what is your API key? Okay, so I pasted here, right? So this API key, you can have your own API key there. API key. API key. Okay, so print of k, and time dot sleep of, say, 2 seconds. K equal device underscore pull of API equal to API key of your device. Okay, I pasted my API key. You can have your own API key there. Time dot sleep of 2. Now I'll run this program. It's simple. We have to import the packages and then infinite loop. So for every 2 seconds, since it is an infinite loop, for every 2 seconds it keeps pulling the data. Okay, I'm running this. Sorry, sir. Device underscore pull is part of matblocks, so we need to write MB dot device underscore pull. Okay. Device underscore pull is a built-in function which is defined in matblocks. So we need to access the object name dot device underscore pull. Okay. So it is reading data as device status is off. So it is reading off continuously because that is my previous status, I guess, right? Let me check my previous status. Yeah, the previous status will be at top. Okay, my previous status is off. That is why it is showing off here. It is showing off continuously because the previous status will never change until you update the new status, right? When you let us press the button, you'll understand. So button 1 is for on, right? I'll press button 1. Now let's check what is this printing there. See, now it is printing on continuously. So on will be printed continuously until I update my status. Okay, let me update the status to button 2. So I press button 2. So in the place of on, it should replace with off. Okay, you should get this output. When you press button 1, it should print on continuously until you update the next status. When you press button 2, it should print off. This output you should achieve. as it is in infinite loop, it is running continuously. Okay. If once you check this, you can stop the execution. So this program should print the last command, which is pushed to the cloud for the device. Now here we can write if condition, right? If k equal to on, say if k equal to on, I can switch on the device, print device on. And if k double equal to off, I can write simple if and elif logic in such a way that I can make device off. So instead of writing print statements, I can, if I write this program on Raspberry Pi, I can able to access the GPIO header. Okay. On 7th day, in 7th class, I told you how to access the GPIO header and all, right? So when you run this program, when it receives on, it should print device on. When it receives off, device off, right? So it is printing device off because the k value is off here. Let me update the status to on. I'll press button 1. If I press button 1, it should print device on. Okay. And the data will be reading continuously because the entire logic is inside while of 1. While of 1 is nothing but true. So you can able to see the data continuously, which is iterated there. Until you update the next status, the previous status will be keep printing there. Or if you want to print for only one time when it is changed, then you should write a Python script for it. Okay. So if you want to print off for only one time, and it should print on for when the logic is changed. As this logic is printing data continuously, right? So if you want to see the device on, device off for only one time instead of repeating continuously, though it is in while of 1, we should write a Python script for it. Let's write a Python script for it to print the data for only one time, and that too when it is changed. So let's write simple logic. Say flag equal to 0. Say some variable. Instead of flag, you can write some a equal to 0. Okay. Say a equal to 0, b equal to 0, and a double equal to 0. Make a value as 1 and b value 0. Here, and b double equal to 0. Make b value as 1, a value is 0. So when you write this logic, simple logic, see, device status is the sprint statement device on is printing for only one time, but the rest of the data which is printing here is not written in the program here, but it is written in the module. Okay, it is written in Matblocks in such a way that it is continuously iterating the logic. If you look at this program, device on is printing for only one time. Okay, which means that this logic is executed for only one time, and thereby this print statement is executed for only one time. But this print statement, say, if I will remove this k, okay. Now this print statement is iterating continuously. Okay, this print statement is iterating continuously. So that is why you can able to see the data continuously. Okay. So let me write this program. I can copy this program onto my Raspberry Pi. Okay. Okay. So I connected Raspberry Pi. It will take 2 minutes to get booted. So meanwhile, so let's jump into the real part. Okay. So it is connected. It is able to receive data. So let's jump into Alexa. Okay. And we have created API. We wrote program to download the data and all. So here what we did here, we wrote this program, and this program is just downloading the data, and we are pressing buttons here to change the status. What we are doing here, we are pressing buttons. When you press button, then the status is updating there, right? So now instead of pressing button, you should say Alexa, switch on the device. Then the status should change here. Okay, then the status should change. Getting my point? Instead of pressing button, when you press button, what is happening there? When you press button, the status is updating to the cloud. But here, Alexa has to do that action. When the voice instruction is given. Okay, let's do that. So let's jump into the console of Alexa. So let's open developer.amazon.com. I asked you to create an account in developer.amazon.com, right? So please open developer.amazon.com. So let's sign in. So when you sign in into the developer.amazon.com, you can able to see Amazon Alexa here, along with Amazon Dash, AWS, and App Store. So our focus is on Amazon Alexa. So let's click on Alexa. When you click on Alexa, then Alexa Developer Console will open. So this is the Alexa Developer Console. You need to click on Alexa. Here comes the new task. We need to train our Alexa. We need to create a skill for Amazon Alexa Developer Console. You have to log into developer.amazon.com, and then you have to select Amazon Alexa there. Then Alexa Developer Console will open. So here you need to click on Create Alexa Skills. Okay. We have to create a skill for our bulb device. We need to click on Create Alexa Skills button. Okay. Then Alexa Skills Kit will open. Okay. So using Alexa Skills Kit, we need to create a skill on Alexa in order to control our device through a simple voice assistant. Okay. So when you click on Alexa Skills Kit, this console, you'll have a blue color button here, console. This is Alexa Skills Kit console. We need to click on console button. When you click on console button, Alexa Skills Kit Developer Console will open. You need to click on console. Okay. So here we need to create a skill. There is a blue color button called Create Skill. You can click on the blue color button, which is available here on the right side. Create Skill. When you click on Create Skill, then you will get an option to enter the skill name, and to select the language also you'll get an option here. Let the skill name be webinar. Okay. Whatever. Webinar. Say. Or you can write IoT Bubble. You can write any skill name. That's up to you. Or you can write your name also. So choose a model to add your skill. Let it be custom. Okay. Choose a model to add your skill. Let it be custom. Choose a method to host your skills backend resources. So backend is nothing but where we get machine learning output. Okay. Backend resource is nothing but a place where we get machine learning output. So let it be provision your own. That is by default selected here. So let it be provision your own. And here let it be custom. So webinar bulb, you can select the language. Okay, US, ours is English US. Or you can select English Indian also. Okay, Hindi is also there. whatever. So let's click on create skill. When you click on create skill, then with this skill name, a skill will be created. We are trying to deploy this skill on Amazon Alexa to switch on and switch off the bulb, to control the bulb. Choose a template, start from scratch, okay. So it is asking to select the template for the skill. Let it be start from scratch, okay. So let's choose start from scratch. Okay. So here I spoke about invocation, right? Invocation is nothing but activating your skill. Invocation is nothing but activating your skill. I spoke about what is intent. Intent is nothing but class name which is holding some utterances here. So let us set the invocation for your skill. Let us set the invocation. Skill invocation name. Skill invocation name is nothing but invoking your skill with Alexa. Okay, what it is showing here? It is showing webinar space bulb. Okay, your skill invocation name should have at least 2 different words. Okay, you cannot write one word. Your skill invocation is invalid. It must be at least 2 words. Okay, so I wrote webinar space bulb. You can write any skill invocation name. Okay, but it should be at least 2 words. Okay, so this is a skill invocation name. You need to invoke the skill in order to give a voice instruction. Okay, if you want to give a voice instruction, you have to activate your skill. Invocation is nothing but activating the skill on Alexa. Okay, so we have given our skill name, invocation name, and let's jump into intents. Okay, in intents there are some predefined intents like fallback intent, cancel intent, help intent, stop intent, navigate home intent, and all. So these are the predefined intents. So let us create a new intent. Okay, let's click on add intent. Let's click on add intent. So I clicked on add intent. I give an invocation name. Okay, I have given invocation name and then I jumped into add intent. So here let the intent name be device bulb on, say. So intent name should not have any space. Okay, intent name should not have any space. So let's click on create custom intent. Let's click on create custom intent. Then you'll be getting a chance to enter the sample utterances here. What are the sample utterances? Say please switch on your bulb. Okay, which is equal to bulb on, right? Which says that the bulb should on, right? Make your bulb on. Say some user says that make your bulb on. You should write maximum possible utterances that user can talk about bulb on. Okay, or you can say please put on the bulb, or some people say please make your bulb on, or some people say bulb on the bulb, to on the bulb, to make your bulb on. So the maximum possible utterances here. Okay, so I've given 8 sample utterances. Utterances are nothing but the maximum possibilities that a user can talk with related to this intent. Okay, so the intent name is bulb on, so I'm focusing on bulb on utterances here. Okay, so in the similar way, let's create one more intent which is bulb off. So let's add one more intent. Say let's write bulb off. I'm clicking on create custom intent. So let's write possible iterances here. Make bulb off, switch off the bulb, okay, bulb off, bulb off, to make your to off your bulb, whatever. Okay, the maximum possible iterances here. Okay. So we have created two user intents and there are 5 built-in intents, which are predefined intents. Okay. So let's click on save model. Let's click on save model. Okay. So what we did here, we have created a skill by using developer.amazon.com. We have logged in into developer.amazon.com and then we have opted Amazon Alexa there. Then immediately Amazon developer Alexa developer console will be, that page will be redirected. On that we have selected console button. We have clicked on console and we got Alexa skills kit console there. Through Alexa skills kit console, we have created a skill. Then it has asked to enter the name. So we have entered a name for the skill, and then we have created a skill, and then we have given invocation name to make our skill activated, and then we have created two intents here. One is bulb on intent, second one is bulb off intent, and we have given some sample iterances, and then we have clicked on save model. This is what we did, right? So this is the front end. Okay, in the front end, what we did, we have given some iterances. So when you click on build model, don't click on build model as of now, but we need to configure something else. Okay, but when you click on build model, this iterances will be classified into classes. This intent will be classified into classes. Okay, but to do that, we have to configure our Amazon Alexa skill with the backend. Okay, with the backend. So let's jump into backend of this skill. Let's jump into backend of the skill. Let's open our AWS account. AWS will act as backend. Okay, as we are having an account, so I will not ask you to create account today, but it is, we are having an account here, right? So let's sign in. We can use the same account. So AWS Management Console, we have logged in into AWS Management Console. Make sure that your data center region is Ireland. Okay. So here we need to search for a service. Okay. Our service today is Lambda. Lambda. You need to search for Lambda service. Okay. So this is a service which is nothing but serverless function call. We don't focus on servers. We just create a function, and that function will be having some logic which is connected to your skill. So Lambda service. So the brief is there: run code without thinking about servers. Without any server knowledge also, you can able to host some function in server, and we can able to invoke that function connected with Alexa skill. Okay. So let us click on Lambda. Okay, so this is the AWS Lambda dashboard. You'll be having a button called create function. Okay, you'll be having a orange color button called create function, and here we have to create a function. That function has to be connected with the Alexa skill which we have created in Alexa developer console. In Alexa Developer Console, we have created front end, and here we have to create a back end through Lambda. So here we need to click on create function. When you click on create function, you'll have three options here: author from scratch, use a blueprint, or browse serverless app repository. So let's click on browse serverless app repository. Okay. So let's take some sample program and then we'll edit in the sample program. So here when you click on browse serverless app repository, there are some 553 examples which are available in public cloud. Okay. So where you can able to access 553 applications. Okay. And this application sometimes they will be node.js in JavaScript. There will be JavaScript functions here, and there will be Python based functions also. So the programming language can be JS or programming language can be Python. So here if you look at this, it is JS, so it is JavaScript. Okay, so some programs will be on JavaScript, some programs will be on Python. Okay, let's type Python. Okay, let's type Python in the search bar. Python. So let's take some basic example in Python. All these programs are deployed for 6 times, 2 times, and 1 time, 1k times. But we'll take the program which is deployed more number of times. Okay. Python color. Where is this Python color? Here it is. So this program, I used to take this program as a basic reference program because it is deployed for more number of times, okay? Which means that it is little authenticated. Okay, as it was used by many number of people, we can rely on this code. Which is when you search color Python, when you search for color space Python, then you can able to see a sample function call, which is Alexa Skills Kit Color Expert Python. Okay, color Python, and you need to click on this Alexa Skills Kit Color Expert Python. You have to search for color space Python, enter. Then it will display the sample programs there, out of which one is Alexa Skills Kit Color Expert Python, which is having 3.1k deployments. Okay, which means that this function is deployed 3.1k times. Okay, so rather than all the other functions, this program is a basic program which was created first to demonstrate the Alexa Skill Kit. So let's click on it. So when you click on it, it is showing the GitHub URL. Okay, from this GitHub, it will try to download the file. An application name. Okay, application name is the same name. A topic name parameter, write IoT. Okay, a topic name parameter, write IoT. A topic name parameter, write IoT, and click on deploy. A topic name parameter, write IoT, and click on deploy. A topic name parameter, write IoT, and click on deploy. Now this function is able to deploy in your account. Yes, it is deployed. So update complete. So when you see this three green color ticks, it says that this function is deployed on your account. So let's open this function. Let's open this function. So you need to click on this resource, okay? And you'll get in a new page. You can able to see the program. Okay, have you got this lambda function? Some sample code will be there. So in this lambda function, the first important point is get welcome response. Okay, there is a function called get welcome response. Get welcome response. This is a function. You will have this function in your code. Okay, in your lambda function, you'll have this identifier of this function. Okay, get welcome response. Have you identified this get welcome response in your code? Get welcome response is nothing but when you invoke your skill. Okay, when you invoke your skill, then immediately what should be the welcome response? So here card title is welcome, and speech output you should write welcome to, you can write whatever, welcome to my skill, please tell me what you want me to do. Okay, please tell me what you want me to do. In get welcome response, what should be the speech output that Alexa should pronounce? Okay, what it should say when you invoke your skill, what it should say, the speech output. Speech output is nothing but a text should be given. So when you give this text, so the text will be converted to voice, okay, by using text to speech. So this is a welcome text. Okay, welcome to my skill, please tell what you want me to do. Okay, just replace with this default message, welcome to my skill, please tell me what you want me to do. Have you replaced? This is a speech output. Okay, so let's check whether this welcome response is printed there or not, but we need to configure our lambda function. So here at designer you'll have add trigger. At designer you'll have add trigger. You need to click on add trigger. At select trigger, you need to select Alexa skills kit, Alexa IoT. Okay, Alexa skills kit. You need to select Alexa skills kit there. You need to click on add trigger, and then you have to select Alexa skills kit. When you select Alexa skills kit, it will ask you to enter the skill ID. Okay, so we have to enter the skill ID of the skill which is created here. We have created a skill here, right, on Alexa developer console. So this skill will be having a unique skill ID. You can able to see that skill ID in endpoint. Okay, in endpoint you need to click on endpoint. In endpoint you can able to see the skill ID when you select AWS Lambda. You can able to see the skill ID. So this skill ID will be unique from skill to skill. You need to select endpoint in the Alexa developer console. In the Alexa developer console, where we have created intents and all, here in the endpoint you need to click on endpoint, and then you have to copy the skill ID. You need to copy the skill, and this skill we have to paste it here in the skill ID. You have to paste the skill here in the skill ID. You have to paste the skill from Alexa developer console. In Alexa developer console, at endpoint, you need to select endpoint and then AWS Lambda. You need to copy the skill ID and you need to paste that skill into here. in the skill ID box. You need to click on add. When you click on add, so that skill ID will be assigned here. Okay. So there are too many skills which are added to my program. So let me delete. Okay. Delete. So this is my skill ID. And we have pasted the skill ID here. And the next, we need to copy the ARN, which is the identifier of the lambda function. Okay, we need to copy the ARN. We need to copy the ARN of the lambda function, which is like identifier. So this function is identified by using this identifier. Okay, and we need to copy this identifier, and then we have to paste it in the default region. In the default region, we have to paste the identifier in the default region, and you need to click on save endpoint. It's simple. You need to copy the ARN from here. On the top, you'll have ARN, which is an identifier of lambda function. So this has to be copied and should be pasted here. After pasting here, you need to save the endpoint. If you forget to save the endpoint, then these details will not be saved. Okay, you need to click on save endpoint. When you click on save endpoint, so these details will be saved. And what we did here, we have copied skill ID from here and we have pasted in the trigger. We have pasted in the trigger, and then we copied ARN from the lambda function and we have pasted here in the endpoint default region. Like this, we need to connect both skill consoles with lambda function. We need to configure our skill and with lambda function by copying ARN from lambda function to here and skill ID from here to lambda function, so that they mutually they'll get connected. Mutually they'll get connected because the skill is generated in developer console of Alexa. Lambda function is not here, right? Lambda function is there in AWS management console. So we need to connect both the lambda function and Alexa skill by copying their own credentials here. We need to copy the skill ID to there and ARN from there to here. Okay, so like this endpoint will be connected. Like this endpoint is now connected. The skill endpoint is connected with lambda function. The skill endpoint is connected with lambda function. So let's get back to the program. So go back to application. You can click on this. So when you click on go back to the application, you can click on this logical ID. You can able to see the program. Okay, you can able to see the program here. So welcome to my skill. Please tell me what you want me to do. So have you connected? So have you done up to this? So after this, what you have to do is you have to build a model. You have to click on build model. When you click on build model, then your machine learning model, this utterances which is given here, bulb on and bulb off, will get trained by the Alexa. Where to copy? ARN will be here. ARN will be at the top. Okay. ARN will be here. You need to copy ARN from here. I need to copy ARN from here, which is at the top. Okay. From here to the end point. Okay. So there will be an end point, and in the end point, you need to paste the ARN. You need to paste the ARN in the end point default region. In the default region, you should paste the ARN of the lambda function. When you're doing it for the first time, you'll get confused here and there because copy pasting will be there. And then you have to click on save model, save endpoint, and then you need to build the model. After pasting URL, you need to build the model. You need to click on save endpoint. Don't forget to click on save endpoint, and then you need to build the model. If the model is built, you'll get a pop-up says that file build successful. Here on my screen you can able to see file, so full build successful. Okay, it means that your build is completed. It means that your intents are trained. Okay, so let's test whether it is displaying the welcome voice or not. So let's test our application. There is a test option here. So when you click on test, when you click on test, you'll get an Alexa simulator. Okay, since you are not having Alexa device with you, there will be an Alexa simulator where you can test the application. So let's click on test. Test is disabled for the skill. Okay, click on this. We'll get development. Okay, saying that our skill is in development. Okay, skill testing is enabled in development. So let's right here. Let's invoke the skill with invocation name open webinar bulb. So that is a invocation name, right? Open webinar bulb. Okay, then it should display welcome to IoT skill. Please tell me, please tell what you want me to do. So this is a welcome message which is written here, right? So that is a welcome message which is written here. Okay. What do you want me to do? You should get a welcome response here. You should be able to get a welcome response here. The welcome response which is written there. Welcome to IoT skill or welcome to my skill. Please tell me what you want me to do. Have you got this welcome response? If you get the welcome response, it indirectly means that your skill and AR and Lambda function are connected. Okay. So to check whether your skill and Lambda function are connected, I'm just checking whether you're getting this welcome response or not. If you get the welcome response, it means that they are connected. If you are unable to get the welcome response, it means that the configuration has not been done. Okay, there is some mistake in the program. Have you all got the welcome response? If you are not getting welcome response, please click on save. Okay, we have to save the file. There is a save button here. On Lambda function, there is save button. You need to save your program. Then only you can able to get the welcome response there. If you are not able to get the welcome response, just save your file. There will be a save button here. There will be a save button on the top. On the right side top, you'll have a save button. You need to click on save button. So when you click on save button, this program will be saved, and you can reload this page. You can reload this page and give a message: open webinar face bulb. Okay. You need to click on save. Okay, you have to save your file. If you click on save, and the Python program which we wrote here will be saved. So if you are unable to see this welcome response, just save your program. Okay, save your program. So after this, what you have to do is you will be having a function called on_intent. Please identify this function in the program. On_intent. Please identify the function. After getting the welcome response, please identify a function called on_intent. So this on_intent will be invoked automatically when the sample utterance is given by the user. If user gives a sample iterance, if it gets matched with the intent, then immediately on underscore intent function will be called. In on underscore intent, please identify on underscore intent. In on underscore intent, we need to write some condition check. We need to write some condition check. And the condition check is like if intent underscore name double equal to, what is the intent which is written here in webinar build. And what are the intent name? Bulb on and bulb off, right? So we need to write two if conditions here. If intent name double equal to bulb on, return, you need to write this statement. Return bulb underscore on underscore request of intent comma session. If intent name double equal to bulb off, return bulb off request intent comma session. You need to write these 4 lines, okay? If intent underscore name double equal to bulb on, return bulb on request of intent comma session. If intent name double equal to bulb off, return bulb off request of intent comma session. Okay. You need to write this if logics after accessing intent name. Okay. After accessing intent name from the intent request. After accessing intent name from the intent request, you need to place this line to check whether this intent is matched or not. Okay, if intent underscore name double equal to bulb on, return bulb on request. If intent name double equal to bulb off, return bulb off request. Okay, this 4 lines you need to write after accessing intent name from the intent request. You need to place this 4 lines with indentation. So make sure that there is indentation, okay, otherwise you'll get error. Tab space. When you give tab space, indentation you get, right? This program will be a bit complicated. And then you need to define the functions somewhere else, okay? You need to define the functions def bulb underscore on underscore request of intent comma session. This you have to write bulb on request and bulb off request. In the bulb on request function will be called, this bulb on request function will be called when intent bulb on is matched. Bulb off function will be called when bulb off intent is matched. So here we are passing some instructions by using URL lab2.url open of cloud API and plus on. So this is the push API of the Matplox cloud, okay, which is calling from from bulb on request we are calling through on command, and from bulb off request we are calling through off command. You need to place this function somewhere in the program because it is not necessary to mention, to maintain structure, right? This is not structure oriented programming. You can place this function somewhere above on underscore intent. Above on underscore intent. Above on underscore intent you can place anywhere. Okay. Above on underscore intent you can place these functions anywhere. There is no order in Python. You can place it anywhere. The bulb on request and bulb off request. So these 2 functions should be placed. In this function, if you observe bulb on request function, this bulb on request function, the card title is bulb on and speech output is okay, I made your bulb on, and we are passing the data to cloud by calling URL open. URL open is nothing but built-in module in Python of URL lab2 to access cloud API plus on. Okay. And here also in card title bulb off, in bulb off request card title should be bulb off, speech output okay, I made your bulb off, and by using this URL open of URL lab2 we are passing the API along with off. So to this API off command will be sent. Okay. So after placing these two functions, the last step, you need to place the cloud API. Okay, the cloud API is nothing but push API. So we need to place the push API. We need to place a push API there in the program by a variable called cloud underscore API equal to. So here we need to place push API. We need to place push API after up to equal to only. Okay. On the top, you need to declare a variable of cloud underscore API. You need to declare a variable of cloud underscore API equal to, okay, one URL which is nothing but push API. So push API you need to place it here until you get equal to. Until you get equal to. And above this, you need to import a module called URL lab2. So this two lines you have to append. Cloud underscore API equal to the push API and single quotation. You need to import the module called URL lab2. So in this program, we have to edit. You have to import the module URL lab2, and you need to configure your cloud API, which is push API. And then we have to we have edited welcome response, and then we have added two functions. One is bulb on request, second one is bulb off request. In the bulb on request, we are calling the cloud API. In the bulb off request, we are calling the cloud API through off command. And then we are comparing whether intent gets matched or not. Okay, which intent is matched. So we are comparing the intent name with bulb on. When intent name with bulb on is matched, we are calling the bulb on function. When intent name is matched with bulb off, we are calling bulb off function. Okay. After doing this, we need to click on save. We need to click on save. So when you click on save, this program will be connected with your front end. In the front end, if you say to Alexa, saying that switch on the bulb immediately, bulb on intent will be returned to the back end. In the back end, since we wrote if condition saying that if bulb on intent is matched, calling bulb on intent bulb on request function. In the bulb on request function, we are calling the cloud API with on command. So on command will be passed to the cloud, and thereby the bulb will be on. Okay, so let us check this. I'll send you the file. Okay, I'll send this program. So let's check the console simulator here. Test. Let's click on test. So open webinar bell. Open webinar bell. Then welcome to my skill. Okay, I make bulb on. Okay, right? Say bulb on. When you say bulb on, it should say, okay, I made your bulb on. When it says, okay, I made your bulb on, immediately to the Google Colab. Immediately to the Google Colab, it should print bulb on. Okay, it should print on. Okay, when I type bulb off, it should display, okay, I made your bulb off. Here in the Google Colab, it should print off, but I am getting on. So there is some command on is getting appended here. Okay, maybe the problem of the API. I need to copy the push API only up to equal to. Okay. It is equal to save. So let's reload this skill. Open webinar bulb. Bulb on. Okay, made your bulb on. Yes, now I'm getting on. Okay, so it's a problem with API. So bulb off. I should get okay, made your bulb off. And here on Google Colab, it should print off. So when I say bulb on to Alexa, okay, it should print on. So that's how all these three are connected. For the first time, you'll get confused. Okay, I'll send this code, okay, to your mail so that you can practice them. But lambda function, serverless lambda function should be saved. Okay, you should not, don't forget to click on save button. If you edit anything here, you should click on save. When you click on save, then this program which is appended or which is edited will be connected with your skill. Okay, so you can check. You can give either text command or you can give your voice. Okay, there is mic symbol here. When you click on mic symbol, it can able to hear your voice. You can give the voice instruction also. I will send this code. Just replace with your cloud API. Okay, replace your cloud API and you can check it out. Okay, because if I send you the code, no need to edit all this, right? No need to write bulb on request and bulb off request, because the program which I send will have all this. The only one thing you need to modify is you need to modify cloud API. Okay, because this is my API. If you forget to change this API, then what will happen? The data will be appended to my cloud. So you need to change your API key. If you change your API key, then the Alexa will be communicating with your device. Okay, no need to change the remaining parameters if you keep the same intent name. If you give a different intent name, then you need to replace that intent names here. Okay, if you give a different intent name, say for example the device on, device off, then you need to write device on, device off here in the intent names condition check. Right, check it out. Thank you, thanks for joining. We'll meet you tomorrow in the next class.